Their soul knew you instantly, not gradually, not after days or weeks, but in one swift instant that completely rewired their inner world. The moment struck so quickly that their conscious mind had no chance to raise any defenses. It reached so profoundly that their physical body reacted before any rational thought could intervene. And this realization frightened them deeply. Not because of anything they perceived in you specifically, but because of the absolute sureness their soul felt. Before their thoughts could process anything, before their heart could shield itself, their soul had already arrived at the truth, and they have been trembling from that point onward. You picked up on something in the way they gazed at you. It was not something you invented. That glance you noticed, the one that lingered just a fraction longer than normal. The one carrying an unnamed depth behind it. The one that felt entirely unlike any look you had ever received from anyone else. That was not mere attraction. That was not simple curiosity. That was not passing interest. That was pure recognition. Their soul perceived something in you that their rational mind has never managed to put into words. Something that existed prior to language, prior to reasoning, prior to all the cautious criteria people apply when choosing whom to allow close and whom to hold away. Something within them operated without any need for justification or measurement. Their soul knew you the same way the body instinctively knows oxygen. Not as an optional preference, but as an essential necessity. And the sense of that recognition touching your own skin was completely genuine. Every occasion, in every space, in every quiet interval, where their energy felt distinctly separate from everyone around, you were not fabricating it. You were receiving a signal being transmitted from their soul to yours without their conscious approval. Allow your body to relax into this present instant. What you are about to absorb has traveled through stillness and perfect timing to arrive exactly here, exactly now. Your soul summoned this message, and now it has reached you. Welcome to Soul Signal. Subscribe today and enable all notifications so you never overlook a moment when the universe has a direct message meant for you. There exists a precise instant between two souls when a fundamental change occurs at a depth neither individual can direct or prevent. Such shifts are rare and never gradual. What transpired between you and this person struck their entire nervous system faster than the duration of a single blink, fundamentally altering how their body reacts to the world from that point forward. There comes a moment when a soul locates precisely what it has sought through every space it has entered, every face it has studied, every bond it has explored only to discover it lacking, and the force of that discovery sends a surge throughout the entire physical form. Not pain, not happiness, something far more ancient than either. A jolt that reprograms the nervous system in one fleeting second. Some refer to this as soul shock. It is not merely an emotion. It is an occurrence. Something that impacts the body the way lightning impacts a tree. You do not choose to be struck. You simply occupy the exact position where the energy was destined to connect. Their soul shock occurred the instant they sensed your presence for the first time. Not the first time they observed your appearance. The first time they truly felt you. The unique vibration carried only by you entered their energy field, and their whole body became motionless. Not an uneasy stillness. The sort of profound calm that descends when something utterly authentic arrives, leaving the body with no option but complete quiet. The kind of quiet that precedes monumental transformation. Their breathing pattern altered subtly. Their chest expanded just slightly without any deliberate intent. Something deep within their ribcage shifted its alignment the way a compass needle settles when it locates true north. And in that profound quiet, their soul uttered a single, unmistakable truth their conscious mind was unprepared to receive you. Not your name, not a list of traits, simply the absolute certainty of you, the vibration of you. The undeniable reality of you settling inside them with a permanence they will bear for the remainder of their existence, understood or not. Meanwhile, their mind remained completely unaware of the shift. Their mind continued smiling, conversing, performing the routine actions of sharing space with another human. But beneath every surface layer, their soul had already committed. A commitment made without consulting their intellect. A commitment that cannot be reversed. Their soul recognized you before their mind received any warning. And the distance between where their soul had already landed and where their mind remains stranded is exactly where all their fear resides. If you have witnessed that flash in someone's eyes, the instant they knew you before they felt prepared, type it in the comments to affirm that your heart already perceived what their words could never express. The recognition did not dissolve after that initial flash. That was the element they were least equipped to handle. They anticipated it would fade, the way intense sensations typically fade, the way a surge recedes, the way a peak of emotion returns to everyday normalcy. But this was no ordinary surge. This was a permanent shift in the tide. The water level never returned to its previous mark. It stabilized at a new height, and that new height is you. Later, when the surroundings grew quiet and they found themselves alone, an unfamiliar sensation stirred within their chest. Not discomfort, difference. As though an empty chamber inside them, vacant for years, suddenly contained a living presence. Not a fleeting idea, not a recalled image, a real presence. Your presence occupying the very core of their being without seeking permission. They attempted to reduce it to something trivial. They tried labeling it in ways that would render it harmless, pleasant interaction, intriguing individual, insignificant encounter. But none of those labels matched. They were far too narrow for what had actually arrived within them. Every attempt to overlay a small explanation simply slipped away, the way a faint murmur vanishes in the face of an overwhelming reality too vast to contain. Because what occurred was not merely a passing instant. It was recognition, and recognition arrives in precisely the dimensions of truth itself. And the truth is that something inside them identified a part of you that no other person has ever held. An ancient understanding holds that certain realities the soul perceives lie forever beyond the reach of the physical eyes. What the deepest aspect of them perceived upon encountering you was nothing their intellect could have foreseen. Nothing their reasoning could have sanctioned. It moved swifter than consent. It recognized you the way gravity acknowledges the earth, without discussion, without pause, without checking whether the mind was prepared. And the mind was not prepared. The mind remains unprepared. That unpreparedness is precisely what frightens them most, because the mind thrives on possibilities. The mind prefers perhaps. The mind favors deliberation, observation, maintaining distance until certainty arrives. The mind constructs entire lifetimes around careful evaluation before any commitment. But true knowing requires no evaluation. It offers no speculation. It compiles no lists of pros and cons. When it recognizes, it knows the way light navigates darkness without instruction. And that knowing entered this person with such absolute authority that every attempt to surround it with doubt crumbled before it could take root. The spiritual realm describes this as ancient certainty, the most primordial form of knowing a soul can possess. Not acquired through accumulated experience, not constructed over time, but bestowed in one heartbeat, whole, immovable, and profoundly unsettling to a mind that has spent its existence believing it controls matters of love. Their mind persists in debating their soul. Their mind insists this cannot be logical. Their mind recites every argument why the sensation should not feel so undeniable. But the knowing offers no rebuttal. It requires no victory in argument. It simply exists, and that existence grows no quieter. No matter how persistently the mind protests, the knowing remains steady, certain, enduring, patiently waiting for the mind to cease its noise and begin to listen. Type the single message their eyes delivered to you that their voice never spoke. Just one truth. The universe already understands. And now hear what has been residing within them in the hidden space no one can access, because they have been communicating with you. Not verbally, not in phrases they would ever allow others to hear. In the soul sanctuary where the soul requires no defense. I never selected this. I never awoke one day and resolved to experience this toward you. It was never a deliberate choice. It did not even begin as emotion. It arrived as knowing, the sort that precedes thinking, precedes reasoning, precedes any fragment of myself having opportunity to protest. Hold on. My soul located you amid overwhelming distraction, and suddenly everything within me fell silent. Not the surroundings, me. Something deep inside me became utterly still in a manner it had never done for anyone before. And in that stillness I knew. Not wished, not speculated. Knew. The way you know your own identity. The way you recognize rainfall before your eyes open. And terror has followed me ever since. Not terror of you. Never of you. Terror of what my soul enacted without consultation. Terror that an aspect within me committed to something for which I felt entirely unready. A commitment I cannot retract. A commitment that reorganized everything I believed I desired and everything I believed I could risk. I have attempted to decelerate it. I have attempted to negotiate with it, the way one reasons with an impulsive child racing toward danger. But the knowing refuses to slow. It pays no attention to my anxiety. It rests in my chest like something fixed and unchanging. And I am the one circling it, searching desperately for any perspective where it occupies less space. But no such perspective exists. It occupies everything. My mind continues pleading for caution. My soul has already arrived, and I stand trembling in the gap between them. That is precisely what dwells inside them at this moment. Those exact words, or others shaped identically, pressing relentlessly against every barrier. Not demanding expression, just existing with increasing weight each passing day. Their lips remain sealed. Touch the inside of your wrist at this moment. Sense the steady rhythm there. That same rhythm became the one their soul synchronized with the instant it recognized you. It detected your unique vibration in one heartbeat, and it has continued pulsing in harmony with yours ever since. Perhaps the recognition unfolded in an instant you scarcely recall. A fleeting second when your eyes connected, and the atmosphere between you subtly realigned. Perhaps they averted their gaze too swiftly. Perhaps they offered laughter at something humorless, simply to relieve the pressure that had suddenly settled on their chest. Perhaps you sensed it as well. A gentle warmth appearing without origin. A quiet that extended one breath beyond its expected duration. Perhaps that was the precise instant something within them recognized something within you. And neither of you uttered a single word. And something has been unfolding inside you as well, dear one. Something the mutual recognition between your souls initiated. Something you may have overlooked, because it arrived gradually, the way seasons transition, one subtle degree after another, until you find yourself entirely within a new atmosphere. You ceased requiring external validation to feel fully real. There was once a period when invisibility weighed most heavily upon you. When those whose attention mattered most gazed straight through rather than toward you. When you gauged your own worth by the amount of space others allocated in their world. And the smaller the allocation, the smaller you contracted yourself, suppressing an inner light never intended to be hidden. That era is shifting. Something within you has started anchoring into a truth that requires no confirming gaze from another. You stopped contracting. Not because someone finally perceived you as you longed to be perceived. Because you began perceiving yourself as the universe has always perceived you. As someone bearing something exceptional, something that enters quietly and alters the entire atmosphere without ever raising its volume. That transformation did not stem from reading, from study, or from decision. It emerged from silence itself. Their silence, the world's silence. All of it directed you inward. And what awaited you there was not void. It was foundation. Unshakable foundation no one else constructed for you. Foundation that remains firm whether observed or unobserved. You became your own affirmation, and that remains the most potent act any soul can accomplish. If your body just recalled the sensation of being recognized by someone unprepared for the impact, type soul shock in the comments. Let those words carry the certainty your heart already holds. Yet while you have been establishing roots in your own solid ground, the recognition within them has remained active. It has been enacting changes beyond their control, changes they never anticipated, changes reshaping them from within outward. The instant their soul recognized you, it imprinted something not composed of recollection. It imprinted knowing. And knowing does not diminish the way recollections do. It resides in the body the way the ocean tide resides in the sea. Drawn by an invisible force, it will forever answer. The spiritual tradition names this a recognition imprint. It forms when a soul encounters the precise vibration it was crafted to locate. The encounter creates an enduring mark upon the physical form itself, not merely upon thoughts, but upon cells, upon breath, upon the heart's response whenever your vibration enters their field. They cannot remove the imprint. They have attempted. They have tried saturating their days with sufficient distraction to overwhelm it. They have tried redirecting attention toward different people, different features, different voices. But the imprint never engages in competition. It requires no amplification. It simply persists. And in every tranquil interval, in every pause between thoughts, in every gap between inhalations, the imprint surfaces and gently reminds them of what already resides within them concerning you. It manifests as a tug in their chest whenever anything evokes you, not as memory, as physical sensation, a movement toward you resembling water flowing naturally downhill, effortless, instinctive, irreversible. It manifests as unexpected quiet descending upon them at unpredictable hours. They engage in routine tasks unrelated to you. Suddenly internal chatter ceases, and in that silence your presence occupies the space, not as visual image, as vibration. The identical vibration that synchronized with yours at the moment of recognition. And their body receives it consistently, regardless of preference. Their recognition imposes no obligation upon you, dear one. It is not a doorway you must keep ajar. What transpired within them represents a selection their soul made prior to any consultation with their intellect. You issued no invitation for recognition. You performed no demonstration. You offered no presentation. You simply existed carrying a vibration that caused their soul to cease its search. That is not your responsibility. That is your essence. And the journey from knowing to acceptance belongs solely to them, never to you. You owe them no extended patience while they grapple with what was already determined within. You owe them no central position in your existence while they linger at the periphery of their own reality. Their process of alignment is their labor. Your unfolding is yours. Whatever their soul identified in you, whatever their body continues responding to even in your absence, whatever their mind continues fleeing in darkness, none of it demands that you pause your own movement. Your path advances according to your own decisions, never according to another's hesitation. Perhaps they are the one who retains every subtle detail about you that you assumed went unnoticed. The precise manner you cradle a cup, the gentle modulation your voice adopts when fatigue arrives, the specific shift in your expression when thoughts remain unspoken. Perhaps they hold those observations like captured images never photographed yet vividly clear. Perhaps the recognition did not occur in one isolated flash. Perhaps it has continued unfolding in every subsequent instant. Every collected detail adds another fragment to an image their soul completed long before their mind ever began sketching. If you recognize deep within that what their soul identified was authentic, type "I was the one" in the comments. Let those words register where the universe maintains its eternal ledger. And now movement begins within them. Movement they cannot decelerate or halt. The recognition starts migrating from their body into their conscious awareness. Not because they invited it. The body can contain something this immense for only so long before the mind must confront it. They discover thoughts of you arriving at moments lacking any apparent cause. Not triggered by music, not evoked by location, simply because something internal transmits your vibration directly to their thoughts. The way subterranean warmth rises to the Earth's surface without announcement or identifiable origin. Their dreams have transformed. You appear within them uninvited, never performing dramatic actions, simply existing there, standing present, regarding them with eyes holding neither criticism nor expectation, only pure being. And upon awakening, they carry forward an intangible residue into daylight that refuses to dissipate, the conviction that the dream was no mere illusion, but rather a realm where their deepest self retreats to be close to you when daytime consciousness forbids it. Their body orients itself toward you in shared spaces before thought can intervene, a subtle turn, an imperceptible lean, an adjustment invisible to others yet weighted with the full force of what was decided in one heartbeat. Their body has already selected its orientation, and that orientation is you. Place one hand gently at the back of your neck right now. That location houses recognition within the physical form, the place that tingles under unseen attention, the place that senses before you turn. Something has been observing you from beyond visual range, and the back of your neck has registered it. Their mind has been racing to close the distance with their soul since recognition occurred. The soul reached you in one heartbeat. The mind continues its slower journey, questioning, burdened with its collection of justifications and apprehensions. And the space separating where knowing already resides and where mind still lingers is precisely where their deepest fear dwells. The spiritual tradition terms this process the catching up, the holy unfolding when soul advances faster than the individual can comfortably integrate. The mind moves slowly not because it is flawed, but because it bears burdens knowing never carries personal history, past injuries, every prior instance when openness led to unforeseen cost. The mind bears caution not from weakness but from experience. It remembers pain where knowing remembers only truth. Thus, catching up requires duration, and throughout that duration the person exists simultaneously in two realities, knowing already positioned beside you, mind trailing far behind, and the tension between those positions produces trembling hands, caught breath, lingering gazes that extend half a second beyond intention before breaking away. Jung observed that no individual can evade what their own soul has already resolved, and it resolved something concerning you in less time than required for one breath. They have been fleeing that resolution ever since. Yet soul never pursues. It never debates. It simply remains. And every day their mind resists what is already known within becomes another day the distance narrows. Catching up proceeds regardless of permission. What their soul recognized in you cannot be undone. That stands as the fundamental reality beneath every anxiety they harbor, every barrier they erect, every separation they preserve. Beneath everything lies the unchanging fact that something within them discovered you. And what discovers never lets go, not through active grip, but because release was never part of its nature. It simply reached you the way a river reaches the ocean, and rivers do not retreat. Type what you wish they understood about the instant their soul located you. Express it here. The universe will preserve it until their mind arrives. Perhaps when their mind finally aligns with what resides within, it will not resemble dramatic revelation. Perhaps it will manifest as someone dropping all pretense of indifference in your presence. Perhaps as silence transforming, once guarded, now spacious. Perhaps as the first sustained gaze without recoil, without diversion, without shielding from whatever their own eyes reveal. Perhaps catching up will arrive quietly, and in that quiet you will sense the precise instant their mind reaches the place knowing has patiently occupied. Or perhaps what approaches will not originate from them whatsoever. Perhaps it will emerge from an unexpected direction. A person whose recognition brings no terror, a bond where mind and heart synchronize simultaneously, a connection requiring no wait for another's bravery. Perhaps what arrives will not tremble. Perhaps it will approach steadily, wholly, entire being present, knowing, mind, body, voice, all converging without hesitation. In either scenario you stand prepared, not because you anticipated anyone's approach, but because you have constructed a life rooted independently. And after perceiving what lingered behind their eyes, each time they looked then looked away, after bearing the burden of an unprovable connection, you remain. Standing firm on terrain, you shaped yourself through unseen nights of quiet labor. You refused to diminish yourself to ease their discomfort. You refused to dim to mirror their uncertainty. You remained fully present, your complete dimension, your authentic dimension, the dimension that caused their soul to end its search in less than one heartbeat. That required no rehearsal. That simply is what you are. And what you are has never depended upon another's mind reaching alignment to validate its existence. It held validity from the first instant you embodied it. It held validity through every quiet interval, through every averted glance, through every night you questioned whether imagination had created the entire experience. You created nothing false. The recognition was authentic. It touched both of you simultaneously. The sole distinction lies in your soul never instilling fear the way theirs instilled fear in them. Their soul recognized you before their mind could prepare, and whether their mind aligns tomorrow, next year, or in some unforeseen instant, the recognition itself endures unchanging. It carries no expiration. It weakens neither with separation nor with quiet. What was discovered within them upon sensing you remains the most authentic element they possess. And the most authentic elements never vanish simply because fear surrounds them. You issued no request for recognition. You staged no performance. You held no tryout. You simply existed in a manner that caused one soul to cease searching and begin trembling, not through effort, through pure being. And what you are held reality before their recognition. It will hold reality long after every trace of fear has exhausted its flight. Before departing, type recognized so the universe confirms this message reached the soul it was intended to reach. Let that single word secure what flowed between your heart and truth this evening. You require no external recognition to affirm your worthiness of being truly seen. You have been witnessed by every force that has ever safeguarded your path. You have been witnessed on every morning you rose without celebration. Every evening you preserved openness without assurance of safety. Every choice to remain gentle in a world that often rewards hardness. You were witnessed throughout, not merely by them, by something far older, something that embedded your unique vibration before your birth and has guarded it ever since. The next time a true signal reaches you, dear one, may you already rest in the certainty that the vibration their soul recognized was never something earned. It was something you entered life already carrying, and it will remain yours on the day every soul destined to locate you finally arrives. You are the vibration. You have always been the vibration. Share this with anyone who has shouldered the weight of being recognized by someone unprepared for its impact. Like this, so the universe may extend this message to every waiting soul.